Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. This is Nationwide and we are live in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. President John Magufuli of Tanzania is dead. He was aged 61. The late Tanzanian president died in Dar es Salaam, according to a statement by the vice president. President John Magufuli reportedly died of a heart ailment that he had battled with for over 10 years. Late President John Magufuli had been receiving treatment at Nzena Hospital since Sunday. Samia Suluhu Hassan is now the acting president of Tanzania. She will be Tanzania's first female president. Magufuli is said to be one of Africa's most prominent COVID-19 skeptics. Late John Magufuli is known as the bulldozer for his tough stance against corruption and his hardline policies. He swept to victory in October 2015 as Tanzania's fifth president. Back home, the Senate Committee on National Identity and Population has screened Muhammad Dattijo Usman, the nominee for appointment as a federal commissioner representing Niger State in the National Population Commission. The committee demanded to know from the nominee areas in the commission where he will be making interventions, and he submitted that the establishment of a long-term plan for credible data collection and analysis needs urgent attention.
That the Constitution is very clear about the population census, but what the Constitution says is to conduct census periodically. So some people are advancing arguments that the period need to be spelled out.
And tell us a little about the Population Commission itself. We are probably, you have observed that the Commission has not done so well, and what you think you are bringing on board as a nominee of Mr. President to make the place more functional.
The Constitution says you are to do a periodic census. So it's to look at those provisions and then using the machinery of administration, decision making, we can arrive at some decisions that will be in the interest of all of us. Because without credible data, I believe the kind of development we want, we may not realize it.
And still staying with legislative matters, with the prevailing security situation in the country, the House Committee on Solid Minerals says there is need to ascertain and regulate companies importing explosives into the country. This was at an investigative hearing with chief executive officers of companies in related matters across the country. Mobolaji Mori-Birin has the report.
Investigative hearing is seeking companies dealing with explosives materials to present their operating license and end-user certificates. The documents are expected to show details of the number of explosives imported into the country between the year 2014 and 2020. The committee reminded the companies of the regulation guiding the administration and utilization of these items, as specified in the 1967 Explosives Act.
We want to know the whereabouts of this explosive. We want to make sure this particular item does not end up in the wrong hands. It can be in the hands of a terrorist. It can be with an alien. That's why we are here to make sure there is a corresponding from the permit. There's a corresponding inventory on the end user's permit.
The ultimate aim of the meeting, says the committee, is to control the usage of explosives in Nigeria to protect lives and property. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Mori-Birin, NTA News.
And a large deposit of gold has been discovered along the Abuja-Nasarawa axis. Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekon Adegbite, and the Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, announced this in Abuja, but expressed concern about the security challenges associated with such development. Over now to Mie Ogidi.
Nigeria, with different solid minerals beneath the land surface. But getting the exact spots where the minerals are located and to have inventory, a major challenge. So the federal government in 2018 come up with a special initiative, the National Integrated Minerals Exploration Project. 2 years after, time for harvest, starting from the home of solid minerals, Nasarawa State, gold is now found in the Abuja-Nasarawa axis.
We've done this exploration all over the country, and we've discovered very nice tracts of gold deposits, especially between Abuja here, the Federal Capital Territory, and Nasarawa, where we share a border.
It is a golden opportunity for those into the gold business. But here, great wealth standing side by side with the security challenges.
Of course, in a place called Uke, at the moment, we have this activity of mining of gold going on, but illegal. And that is a very big concern for us. And I think the Honorable Minister, like you rightly mentioned, if you can set up a team that will go in there to review the situation, it will be wonderful.
So, this meeting between the federal and the state government is expected to address some of the challenges that may arise in this axis where the gold is found. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
And it's time to join our Lagos Network Center, where Hingino is on standby with the next set of reports. Hello.
Hello, Hawa. Winning the war against insurgency and banditry requires sustained provision of logistics, especially as it affects air power. The new Air Officer Commanding Logistics Command, Air Vice Marshal Sunday Makinde, made the remark at a ceremony in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports.
The air power of the Nigerian Air Force has over the years helped in the bombardment of the enclaves of insurgents for a successful ground force invasion clearance missions. This official engagement symbolizes a new dawn for the Logistics Command, with Air Vice Marshal Sunday Makinde resuming as the 43rd Commanding Officer. Air Vice Marshal Makinde noted that the Nigerian Air Force is turning the tide against insurgency, necessitating improved efforts and supply of air logistics across several theaters of operations.
We will continue to do what we have to do to support the effort of the Air Force at, improving the security situation in the country. And I'm sure the way it is, we should have to, rejig our efforts and continue in that line.
Air Officer Commanding Logistics Command, Air Vice Marshal Sunday Makinde, until his deployment, was the former college secretary, National Defense College. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Moving on to health matters, the dream of stamping out COVID-19 from Lagos is fast becoming a reality as two major health institutions flagged off COVID-19 vaccination. Annie Daniels reports.
To these health workers and caregivers from the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, and the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMA, the COVID-19 vaccination couldn't have come at a better time than now, after some health workers contracted the virus from asymptomatic patients.
If you help us spread this message so that Nigerians everywhere can comply.
Heads of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, and the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMA, led other staff in taking their first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Let us all register en masse. Let us take the vaccine. It has been proven safe. It will save our lives.
If you refuse to take the vaccine, you are doing a disservice to the nation, because it will be a challenge for the nation to develop herd immunity.
The vaccination process was very smooth and swift. You just feel a little injection prick.
Nigerians are still advised to please ensure they keep to every COVID-19 safety protocols put in place by the World Health Organization. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
It's now time for our first commercial break. Nationwide continues after that.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather, we ball. We hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTA Network.
A derby win. The Gunners travel to take on the Hammers in another London derby. Will they make it 2 out of 2? Find out as West Ham take on Arsenal at the London Stadium this Sunday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank, Baba Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's nationwide. Now to COVID-19 update. The downward trend of infection rate continues as the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, announced 187 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The latest figures released bring the total number of confirmed cases to 161,261 infections in the country. A breakdown of the new cases from 18 states indicates that Lagos recorded the highest number for the day with 42 new cases, while Taraba came second with 29 new cases. Others are Abia with 13 new cases, Rivers 11, Kaduna 10, Katsina and Oyo 9 new cases each. Kwara and Plateau have 7 new cases, Ondo 5, Bayelsa, Cross River, Ogun and Oshun, 4 new cases each, with Akwa Ibom, Borno and Nasarawa State recording 3 new cases each. With the latest development, 146,395 cases have been successfully treated and discharged, while 2,027 patients have died of the virus. The Nigeria Governance Forum says it is committed to ensuring the safe and effective vaccination of Nigerians against the coronavirus pandemic, as well as exploring windows for speedy economic recovery and growth. These were some of the resolutions reached at the 20th teleconference of the forum. Over now to Abubakar Usman Akwanga.
NGF says the perceptions shared by some Nigerians on the efficacy and safety of AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine is in sharp contrast with its clinical test certified by the World Health Organization and pledged to sustain commitment to the vaccination of Nigerians. The forum commends state governors for the smooth administration of vaccine at subnational levels and received endorsement from COVID-19 Technical Advisory Group led by Professor Yewale Tomori. NGF lauds the Nigerian Governors' Wives Forum's effort in tackling issues of gender-based violence and other forms of crimes against minors and pledged to sustain commitment in winning the war. The Nigerian Governors Forum commended a renewed vigor to combat drug trafficking and abuse and pledged support to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to contain the menace. On the economy of the nation, the forum engaged British Deputy High Commissioner on bilateral discussion in the area of increasing capacity response to COVID-19 economic support as well as customs revenue growth rates. The forum receives update from Presidential Economic Advisory Council on accelerated economic growth and upliftment of 100 people out of poverty by the year 2030, as well as NNPC audited account for the year 2018. 28 states have achieved disbursement-link indicator for states' fiscal transparency, accountability, and sustainability, while the forum's chairman and governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, briefed governors on his engagement with Committee of Vice Chancellors of State Universities. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
We are not done with COVID-19 as a prominent Islamic scholar, Sheikh Dahir Usman Bauchi, has advised Nigerians to accept the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination in good faith, as the exercise is not in any way against the principles of Islam. Muazu Hassan completes the report.
Received nearly 4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine on 2nd March 2021. With the ongoing vaccination exercise of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in the country to frontline workers and senior citizens, religious and traditional leaders have continued to call on Nigerians to accept the vaccine. The latest call came from the renowned Islamic scholar Sheikh Dahir Usman Bauchi. The scholar further urged Nigerians to do away with all forms of doubt on the vaccine and accept it with good faith. The vaccine is expected to save Nigeria and indeed Nigerians free of coronavirus pandemic. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan, NTA News.
And as the coronavirus pandemic persists, the human race fights back, learning to live with the disease. Achibong Basi reports that as part of its prevention strategy, the Federal Fire Service COVID-19 response team is fumigating all federal government parastatals in Cross River State, and NTA Calabar is a beneficiary.
It's the spread of the disease. The Federal Fire Service COVID-19 response team says the fumigation of officers is to disinfect environments and make them safe against COVID-19. Infection with SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, occurs primarily by direct contact with infected persons or surfaces is alleged to remain viable for hours, running into days, hence causing a high likelihood of environmental contamination.
We need their maximum support so that we can work as a team, so we can stop the spread of coronavirus.
The General Manager, NTA Calabar, Sam Olalude, lauds the Federal Fire Service COVID-19 response team for the gesture, which he says will birth a more robust synergy between the two federal government establishments.
Yeah, this gesture is quite impressive by the fire service for extending their expertise and knowledge to come and fumigate our environment.
The fumigation exercise, which is expected to span through the 18 local government areas of the state, is also ongoing in states of the Federation. In Calabar, Achebombasi, NTA.
And from Calabar, we take you to Sokoto, where Sadia has more reports from that axis. Sadia, is over to you.
Wife of the Sokoto State Governor, Maria Aminu Waziri Tambol, says one of the ways to curb the rate of rape cases involving minors is for parents to stop sending their children on street hawking. She was speaking at an orientation and economic empowerment program for 120 vulnerable women by Maria Tambol Development Initiative and supported by UNFPA. Sheikh Mohammed Detti reports.
As the world battles with COVID-19 pandemic, emerging evidence from United Nations indicates a sharp rise in gender-based violence globally. This informed the decision of government and other stakeholders to intensify efforts toward stemming the scourge, especially rape. Various programs are evolved by Nigerian government to enlighten the public on the dangers of gender-based violence, while legislations are being made to decisively deal with perpetrators of gender-based violence. In Sokoto State, wife of Sokoto State Governor Maria Aminu Waziri Tambol is one of the champions of the fight against gender-based violence, and a lot has been done to reverse the ugly trend. This time around, the governor's wife, in collaboration with UNFPA, is empowering 120 vulnerable women, some of them survivors of gender-based violence, with grinding and sewing machines, livestock, while others got financial grants to enable them be self-reliant.
When more income is put into the hands of women, child nutrition, health, and education improves.
Most of the speakers at the event call on parents to ensure education and moral upbringing of their children. The benefiting women prayed Allah to reward the governor's wife abundantly for coming to their aid. In Sokoto, Sheikh Mohammed Detti, NTA News.
Now, Zamfara State's Universal Basic Education Board has intensified efforts towards achieving the overall objective of the School to Farm program through effective implementation of the initiative. To this end, a quiz competition was organized for more than 50 primary schools in the state. Halil Muhammad Umar reports.
The School to Farm program is an initiative of the National Universal Basic Education Commission aimed at making agricultural science more practical at the basic education level. Zamfara State is not left out in the implementation of this all-important program, as the initiative was kicked up in 2018 with the distribution of farming inputs and implements to a total of 54 primary schools from across the state. As part of effort to assess the implementation of the initiative, the board organized an agricultural quiz competition for students from the participating schools, which was keenly contested for at the local government, zonal and state levels. Schools from Talata Mafra zone eventually emerged overall winners of the contest, while their counterparts from Gusau and Kauranamuda zones took second and third positions. Executive Chairman Zamfara State Universal Basic Education Board, Alhaji Abubakar Aliyu Maradun, who expressed satisfaction with the performance of the students at the competition, charged teachers and other stakeholders to be more committed to achieving the set goals of the program.
We want the children to understand agriculture, at least to provide more employment to our teeming populace.
The Director of Primary Education, Alhaji Garba Abdullahi, enjoined the participating schools to continue to make judicious utilization of the intervention given to them for better results. Highlights of the event were a special presentation on importance of agriculture by one of the participating students and the distribution of prizes and certificates to the participants. In Gusau, Halil Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's now back to Hawa in Abuja.
Very well, Sadia. Back here in Abuja, 3 persons have been kidnapped by bandits at Karji, a community along the Ibrahim Yakowa Way, Kaduna. Abdullahi Mohammed reports that the incident left 1 man dead, with residents of the community still reeling from the trauma of their attack.
A sleepless night for residents of Ungwan Waziri, Karji, Kaduna. And when day breaks, reminiscent of what transpired in the darkness of the night was on top of their agenda.
It was scary.
The bandits' target was an off-campus student lodge where they unleashed mayhem and made away with 1 person.
I was so scared. I was like, okay, my room is next and stuff like that. I had the students here shouting and they were jumping into the fence. They had to break into the ceiling and they were going into the ceiling. The guy they took, his name is Muffin, right? The guy, the students they took, he just, when they were shouting, immediately they came inside, they were shouting like, don't ubon kukupito, don't ubon kukupito.
I saw when they were dragging him out. They were holding him by the neck and they were dragging him. I believe they were using him for shielding. So they went with him, and up to now we are yet to establish any contacts.
A total of 3 persons, including the student, were said to have been abducted. But the family of John Bello, a security personnel, is left in tears and sorrow. He was said to have received a friendly call asking him to step out, and that was the last time his family saw him alive.
He now put on his cloth, not official clothes, but he just put on his cloth and went out on his bike, and that was the last thing. So when they were inside, not too far from the house, about 200 meters, they had a gunshot. So the wife just gets scared.
The communities have decided to cut down trees. Trees, they believe, provide shelter for the bandits, especially when they strike at night. But I'm sure that when the environmentalists see this, they will be heartbroken. In Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
And from Kaduna, we go to Ogun State, where the state government has reunited 2 kidnapped victims who are students of the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ayetoro campus with their families. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Abdul-Wahid Odushile, says Governor Dapo Abiodun has directed beefing up of security around schools to avoid future reoccurrence. Hakim Jimo has more.
She's a very bold girl, very brave, and Tosin is a great girl.
The Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Ogun State, Abdul-Wahid Odushile, shortly after the unification stated that no ransom was paid, despite the fact that the abductors demanded for 50 million naira before releasing their victims. While noting that the students are in stable and healthy condition, the Commissioner added that Governor Dapo Abiodun has directed beefing up of security around schools to avoid future reoccurrence.
Going forward from there, we are also directing the security to give them at our tertiary institutions, all our national institutions.
That we are not resting on our hours. We ensure that our students, our children, can actually have their teaching and learning under a very conducive atmosphere without any interference.
Precious Oluwaseun Adeyemo and Oluwatosin Abisola Oyefule are 300-level students of Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ayetoro campus, and were abducted by gunmen in Ayetoro, Yewa North local government area of Ogun State last Sunday. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
The families of the 6 young traders who were extrajudicially killed by some police officers on June 8, 2005, appeared before the Independent Investigative Panel for allegations of human rights violation by the defunct SARS, seeking 200 million naira compensation from the federal government. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chimoba reports that counsel to the petitioners, Amobin Zelu, SAN, appealed to the panel to revisit the case as the young traders were their families' breadwinners as at the time they were murdered.
3 million naira to each of the families of the deceased Apo 6 in compliance with the recommendation of the judicial panel set up to investigate the killings in 2005. The panel also recommended that the bodies be exhumed for families to bury, with 500,000 naira burial expenses to be given to them. The FCT High Court had, in addition, indicted some of the officers for the killing. Counsel to the petitioner Almo Binzelo, SAN, however, told the panel that 500,000 naira burial expenses had not been complied with by the federal government. He further told the panel that 3 million naira was grossly inadequate to assuage the pains suffered by the families.
This panel was set up to review injustice that arises from this type of killings. So there can be an appeal panel. We ask them to upgrade the money that was paid them as compensation.
This is a matter that has since been resolved judicially, and all the processes required has been concluded. Compensation paid, which he admitted.
The chairman of the panel, Justice Suleiman Galadima, after listening to both parties, fixed 15th of April for ruling. DSP Yusuf Bailey, who collaborated the evidence by SP Justin Adaka in the case of alleged judicial killing of one Daniel Agoro, told the panel that the deceased was a kidnapper. The tendering of a locally made gun recovered from the deceased caused a slight uproar as the panel chairman asked him to hold on with the gun. The panel also heard other cases. In Abuja, Viera Chinwoba, NTA News.
And still staying with judicial matters, the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to declare Ifeanyi Ararume winner of the December 5th, 2020 by-election for Imo North Senatorial District. Justice Taiwo held in a judgment that Ararume remained the authentic candidate for the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the election and should be declared winner. He also ordered INEC to issue a certificate of return to Ararume within 72 hours for him to be formally inaugurated by the Senate President. The court dismissed the preliminary objection filed by the APC and one Chukuma Francis Ibezim, challenging the jurisdiction of the court, saying that Ibezim, being purportedly adopted by APC as its candidate in the by-election, had been disqualified by the Federal High Court and later Court of Appeal for supplying false information to INEC to participate in the election. Filling stations selling above the pump price get sanctioned in Ibadan. Over now to Kemi for this and more. It's over to you.
And a warm welcome to Ibadan. Few days after the federal government emphasized the retention of the existing fuel pump price, some filling stations in Ibadan selling at higher rates have been shut. Correspondent Shola Wahid, who monitored the situation in the metropolis, completes the reports.
The initial reaction to the speculation of increased pump price had led to some filling stations selling at higher rates, while some suspended sales. The announcement by Minister of State for Petroleum, Timi Silva, however, restored pump price to 162 naira per litre. While some filling stations complied with the directive, others were still maintaining the high price of selling above the government-approved price. Those called by the team of the Department of Petroleum Resources, however, regretted as the affected stations were sealed.
We are here to check those filling stations that are holding fuel and those who are increasing their price. We noticed that some people are selling 170 and above. So we are here to check them. We came to notice that they are not selling. So we have to check their tank. We find out it's dead stock they have. So there's no fuel there, except the one that's supposed to be as a reserve in the tank.
The drive to ensure total compliance of the federal government directive is to be a continuous exercise. Shola Wahid, NTA News.
And there are strong indications that the postponed Southwest Convention of the People's Democratic Party will take place in April. Correspondent Larry Bilei reports that necessary measures are being taken to address a number of challenges that prevented the initial plan.
The initial plan for the Southwest Convention of the party was to take place early March.
Few days to the date, however, it was shifted as a result of a number of challenges that needed to be resolved.
The only nitty-gritty issue we had, it's about legal issue, which has been tactically resolved. And for the fact that the Reconciliation Committee has been moving sway within the file of the members of the party.
Yeah, we are very much prepared. We are just waiting for the green light from the national leadership of the party to give us the go-ahead.
Party leaders and aspirants for the various positions to be contested for had to re-strategize for a peaceful and memorable experience.
It has to happen in every zone. We have 6 zones. So, but as far as Southwest is concerned, it is important, it is imperative that we elect of elections.
They also called on members of the party to maintain a high degree of commitment by being peaceful. In Ibadan, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to Hawa in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Very well, Kemi. Thank you very much. And President Muhammadu Buhari joins the government and people of the Republic of Tanzania in mourning the passing of President John Magufuli, aged 61, whose legacy of patriotism and dedication to the African cause will continue to resonate across the continent. In a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president believes the late Tanzanian president's courage and love for his country inspired various reforms that generations will continue to celebrate, as the former Tanzanian leader spent most of his life serving the country and humanity with a rich pedigree of working as a school teacher, member of parliament and cabinet minister. The president extends condolences to the family and friends of the late visionary leader of Tanzania, trusting God to comfort them. Based on unforeseen circumstances like sudden death at the workplace, the organized labor urges employers to embrace insurance policies that will serve as benefits to families in the event of death or compensation to other employees who may have suffered occupational hazards. This comes after a recent ghastly motor accident which claimed the lives of the General Secretary of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, late Comrade Silas Adamu, his wife and daughter, along the Abuja-Kaduna Road, who were remembered by the Central Working Committee of the Union in Abuja.
Good insurance package for those that are involved in this job. At times it's accident, at times you lose properties, you lose your phone, you lose your laptop, you lose everything. Those are some of the things that the insurance policy must cover. I think it's important, even in terms of health insurance and all that.
Having recently completed a guest house project, I've written to seek the permission of the National Secretariat to approve their naming that complex after Comrade Dr. Silas Gadani Adamu.
President of the Union thereafter promised to uphold the legacies of the late Labour leader. Now to politics. The chairman of the People's Democratic Party 2019 Election Review Committee and Governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Muhammad, has submitted the committee's report to the party leadership, suggesting, among other recommendations, that the party jettison zoning for competence for the 2023 presidency. Timothy Yusuf has more.
The People's Democratic Party believes that the end of every election is the beginning of another election cycle. This election review committee, under the chairmanship of Governor Bala Mohammed, inaugurated about 1 year ago, is therefore saddled with the assignment of unraveling how and why the PDP failed in its bid to reclaim the presidency in 2019.
In line with certain unwritten conventions of the nation's history, many people think that for fairness and equity, The northeast and the southeast geopolitical zones that have had the shortest stints at the presidency should be given special consideration in choosing the presidential flag bearer of the party in 2023 elections.
I have no doubt in my mind that your report will form the bedrock of our party's plans ahead of 2023 general elections. It starts from today. We must sink our differences.
Speakers from the party's Board of Trustees, National Reconciliation and Strategy Committee, as well as the party's Disciplinary Committee to the Senate Minority Leader, Einaya Baribe, described the committee's recommendations cutting across the need to step up its internal party democracy, national unity and inclusion of all as apt, and called for their quick implementation. Meanwhile, as part of its repositioning and rebuilding efforts, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, has inaugurated the party's Lobby and Action Committee to mobilize women towards the 2023 general elections, with a major task of ensuring that the 35% affirmative action is achieved. Serving Senator Biodun Olujimi from Ekiti State is leader of the committee. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The national leader of the Pan-Yoruba socio-cultural group, Pa Ruben Fasoranti, has stepped down. At a meeting of the group held in Akure in Ondo, the Ondo state capital, Pa Fasoranti explained that he decided to step down due to old age. Doris Olumoko has more.
It's the year 2008 when Pa Fasoranti stepped in as the national leader of Afenifere. His Omolere Street residents in Akure have played host to several meetings of the group.
The national leader, Chief R.F. Fasoranti, in view of his age at 95 years, has decided to step aside as the national leader and to hand over the leadership to another committed, highly cerebral Aoist, somebody who has been in the system since the days of Papa Awolowo.
A former deputy leader of Afenifere, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, now takes over as the acting national leader of the group, while the former financial secretary, Oba Oladipo Olaitan, the Alago of Kajolago, Ilesha, Osun State, was named the new deputy leader of the group. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
And it's time to join Abubakar in our Maiduguri Network Center for more reports on Nationwide. Abubakar?
It's always good to see you, Hawa, and thank you for joining us. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, says the renewed ongoing offensive against Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast region will be extended and sustained in all parts of the country until the criminal completely cleared. The Chief of Army Staff stated this while exhibiting another Boko Haram cache of arms recovered by troops during an operation in the northeast. NTA's defense correspondent Memuna Garba now reports.
Troops of Operation Lapia Dole have continued to record tremendous successes recently, owing to sustained onslaught against the terrorists. To this end, troops of 402 Special Force Brigade Monday evening recovered another Boko Haram weapons system. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, who is currently in Maiduguri to support and boost morale of troops on front line, says the renewed offensive will be sustained with more intensity.
We will continue with this. We are determined. We can see the soldiers are highly motivated and they are very willing to ensure the total removal of Boko Haram from the vestiges of all the states and indeed the environment within the northeast.
General Atahiru said all necessary military equipment will be provided to enable troops succeed in the ongoing operations. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And to some road safety tips now. In an effort to ensure free flow of traffic on major roads within Maiduguri metropolis, Federal Road Safety New Special Marshals, Borno State Command have conducted traffic control activities at Post Office area. Jadwa John Jasni completes the story.
These are members of the Special Marshal at the volunteer arm of the Federal Road Safety Corps, who carry out patrol activities to ensure good road usage on highways and major roads, arrest traffic offenders as well as prosecute them where necessary. The newly recruited Special Marshals of the FRSC Borno State Command, in their effort to clear obstructions and desanitize major gridlock points in the metropolis, embarked on sensitization traffic control activities. Group Commander, who is also head of Special Marshal and External Relations, Mukhtar Garba, said they want to make routes within the town safe for motorists and road users, ensure free flow of traffic, as well as educate motorists on the importance of road discipline.
My advice to motoring public is to obey road traffic rules and regulations, and also avoid use of phone while driving. Always make sure they are on seatbelts.
Some special marshals said they are delighted to contribute their quota in improving traffic on major roads within the metropolis.
I joined the special marshal to contribute my own quota to ensure and to give out a kind of humanitarian work.
The rate of compliance today, I think, is very good. With the help of our special marshal, you can see the free flow of the traffic.
Traffic control activities will be conducted once a month, where all members are expected to participate to improve road safety. In Maiduguri, Jedwa, John Jesney, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Let's take another break now. Hawa in Abuja will be back with more stories shortly.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather, we ball. We hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTA Network.
For Derby win, the Gunners travel to take on the Hammers in another London derby. Will they make it 2 out of 2? Find out as West Ham take on Arsenal at the London Stadium this Sunday on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank, Baba Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's still Nationwide. With the world constantly changing in response to unfolding challenges and new ideas in the health, economic and environmental spheres, the responsibility now rests on tertiary institutions to set a clear direction in strengthening research and development. Charles Alpha was at the University of Abuja, and he tells us how students in the Center for Undergraduate Research are harnessing their potential for national development.
8 out of these best brains from the Center for Undergraduate Research, University of Abuja, are being supported today because of their research work in veterinary medicine, medicine and surgery, soil and computer sciences, as the institution celebrates its maiden Undergraduate Research Day. Okoli Matthew Ada, 25, is working on developing the University of Abuja mobile app, while his colleagues' researches are based on elucidating neuroregenerative therapy to reduce stroke, tomatoes preservation, and more.
Students of the school and visitors also, if they want to navigate around the campus, they can make use of the navigation map on the mobile application.
They are young,
their brain is at alert and they can easily translate effort into results.
We've got our youth and they're well talented, they are full of energy, but we don't want the energy into the wrong direction. That's why the industry, the innovation hub is coming in.
The school authorities, while supporting the students' research work with over 2 million naira grant, believe the initiative is all about identifying problems within both local and global communities and finding solutions to them.
Why are universities not researching and bringing solutions? Our universities should get to work. And this university, the University of Abuja, UAV of Nigeria, are going to lead the way.
The school authority is confident the University of Abuja is ready to lead the nation in the discoveries of innovations through mentoring and providing requisite resources. In Abuja, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Let's now talk about women who are voicing hope on how to occupy positions of critical decision-making in the future as part of major takeaways of the International Women's Day celebration. Momso Damien Detty reports that the president of the National Council for Women's Societies, Gloria Laraba Shoda, is among those with this optimistic view.
International Women's Day for 2021 is over, but the messages for women on rightful emancipation is still going across women gatherings. This meeting is, however, very critical and strategic because it has renewed target.
Nigerian women, blow your trumpet and herald your coming of political age, emancipated minds, loyal to the fight, and reinvigorate your strength and concise belief that there is no going back on your common resolve to be active stakeholders in the polity of our dear country, Nigeria.
It's time to walk the talk by taking conscious and decisive steps to occupy every sphere of decision-making at local and international levels, as demonstrated by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Amina Mohammed.
We see women as the foundation, the bedrock of every society. They are the ones who nurtured everybody to become who he is today. That drives us to love and respect women for who they are. They are God's gift to humanity.
Choose to challenge, which has been the theme of this year's International Women's Day celebration, will remain memorable in the history of women globally. Momso Damien Detty, NTA News.
Very well, Momso. And sports is next.
Following their 2-1 loss to Orlando Pirates in the CAF Confederation Cup second Group A match in South Africa on Wednesday, fans of Enyimba International Football Club of Aba expressed belief that the two-time Champions League winners will bounce back in their pursuit of continental glory.
I think we are going to qualify from that group with a strong belief. We are going to keep our focus now on Setiv. In Aba, we're going to get the game done. By the time we win, we'll be 6 points, and we'll continue from there.
They must, as a matter of duty, win all their home games, and then after then, they must also make sure they make amends. When you are traveling on the road on the continent, you need to be focused for the entire duration of the game, and that's what they paid for yesterday, and I do hope that they learn from their mistakes.
Meanwhile, excitement heightens as fans await the quarter and semi-finals draw of UEFA Champions League on Friday in Lyon, after the conclusion of round of 16 fixtures, with Chelsea beating Atletico Madrid 2-0 in London, while defending champions edged Lazio 2-1 in Germany.
I hope for the best draws tomorrow, but I tell you, these qualified 8 teams, any of them can get it right in the Champions League.
Away from football, the creative director for the opening and closing ceremonies of the Tokyo Olympics, Hiroshi Sasaki, resigned on Thursday for proposing that a popular plus-size female comedian, Naomi Watanabe, appeared as big at the opening ceremony. Sasaki resigned after a report on Wednesday revealed his suggestion about the celebrity comedian was derogatory. With sports updates, Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
And sports update concludes Nationwide today. We thank you for watching. Remember to stand with us here at the NTA as we fight against rape and rapists. Also, don't forget, COVID-19 is still ravaging. Do stay safe. Good evening.